everyone, and welcome to another edition of HP Graphics Live from 5555 Windward Parkway. I'm Hanny Lavine, and we are streaming to you live from our industry-leading Graphics Experience Center right here in the heart of Alpharetta, Georgia. In today's topic, we're going to be telling you how you can become more productive with HP Optimizer, presented to you by our very own Tim Stefl. Before I hand it over to Tim, I want to let you know if you have any questions or comments, be sure to post them in the chat window to the right of your screen. And also, you definitely want to stick around to the end because Tim has an exclusive offer for you for a free trial of HP Optimizer. So thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy it.
How you doing, everybody? For those of you that joined us the last time, welcome back to Live at 5555. What I'd like to do today, as Hanny mentioned, we're going to talk about HP Optimizer. Now, HP Optimizer is available for both the Series 3 and Series 4 presses. That's the 7000 family and the 10,000 family. So if you are a 5000 user, unless you're looking at upgrading your press, you're okay to drop off. But if you really like to learn something about what you can do with productivity, this is a great opportunity to see how that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the product, and like Hanny said, by the end of this discussion, we're going to talk about how you can get your very own copy of HP Optimizer. So let's jump over to that presentation real quick. All right, so we're going to go through the product. I want to make the slides really quick. I don't want to belabor the point and make you take too long on this. We're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes total. But the idea of HP Optimizer is to make your entire job basket more productive overall. So if you look at what a typical operator has to do on a typical day, along with their production management and the other people involved in the production side of things, they have to plan the overall production environment. That means the jobs themselves, how to client prioritize, how to deal with the various substrate sizes and the quantity of substrates that they're going to need. They have to go to the warehouse, they have to cut paper down, they have to bring it into the office. They look at the job length and they try to decide which jobs make the best sense to go first, last, middle, etc. Then they have to manage all these job tickets and where they're going and how they're going, and are they all simultaneously going through the press, etc. Then, of course, we need to do the actual production. So we have to print them, we have to proof them, make sure the customer's okay with them, and we go through the process from there. How can you do that in a better environment than what you're doing today? So let me show you how. HP Optimizer is one of those answers. We think it's probably one of the best answers, and we'll take you through the details here. So what does it really do for you as an operator? So first and foremost, it's going to give you an estimated time of arrival for everything in those particular jobs. And I'll show you this live on the actual screen. So it's going to look at the actual job length. It's going to look at how many sheets it needs to print. There's a number of other time frame functions in here based on how long you have to proof it, how many things you're going to change, how many sheets are in the job, and it's going to tell you with that whole entire print queue what the overall estimated time of delivery of all the jobs are. You're going to have a certain section that's going to re-queue your entire job basket. You're going to have approved jobs. Those jobs are ready to print. You're going to have planned jobs. Those jobs are ready to proof. And then, of course, you're going to have jobs that you really don't have all the information on them yet. Maybe you don't know what substrate they're supposed to be on. Maybe you don't know how many copies you're supposed to get. The customer hasn't really finalized a lot of that, but the pre-press work is done and the job is sitting in queue. The coolest thing of the entire product, and there's a couple really cool features, but this is the one that I like the best, is the idea of how much remaining uptime your press has. And that's based on how many jobs, that's based on how many copies per job, and that's based on how many sheets and substrate quantity you have in the actual press. So that little green bar, and I'll show you a little more detail when we get to the press itself, that little green bar gives you an idea that the press has a nice long way to go before it actually comes to a stop. It also turns orange, it also turns red. And just by looking in that bar, you can see whether or not your press has a number of minutes left before it stops itself. So what does that look like in real time? You actually get a minutes per job, and you can see in this particular instance there's 11 minutes to print this particular job, and it's probably 11:21 right now, because if you're printing this job right now and you have 11 minutes to go, it's going to finish at 11:31. You also have new proofing controls, the functionality of being able to proof one piece of the job or the entire job. Those are what those two little icons mean. And then we'll talk about that remaining queue function as well. All right. So I had to do this a little bit funny. I had to keep you guys a little bit entertained. I wanted you to understand exactly how this process really feels to a new operator. I'm going to be honest, very blunt. New operators hate this product for the first couple of hours. Let me explain what that means. Everybody knows Harry Potter. They've seen it many times.
You're sure about this now?
Take a
Absolutely. For an hour? Most likely. Most likely? You seem a little tense, Harry. Do I?
For this, they will have but 1 hour to do so, and 1 hour only. After that, they'll be on their own. No magic will save them. You may begin at the sound of the cannon.
What's the matter with him?
I don't know, I can't see him.
Oh my God! I've killed Harry Potter!
So that was you using your brand new HP Indigo Optimizer. The idea is that you got it, you installed it, you tried to use it for a little bit, and you felt like you were drowning. You felt like you had just taken that gillyweed, put it in your mouth, gotten sick, fallen in the water, and died. Except you tried it for a little bit longer, you used it for a little bit of time, you got a little bit better at it, and then suddenly you realize it changed everything about your entire production. It made you feel a lot more comfortable in the long run. So yeah, we're all right. So here's the function that I want you to understand. When you're really running Optimizer in a full-blown production environment, this is what it feels like as far as using it. You're going to know exactly what you have left.
You're sure
So we're
about
going
this
to
now?
switch over the videos and give you an idea of what this guy looks like. Now you've seen this either on Carson or one of those kinds of late nights, or maybe even just saw this at the circus. But you can see that the guy is putting the plates up on top of the sticks, he's rolling the things around, and the idea is that he's getting everything going at once. Now what's happening is, as the bowls at the top of the sticks start to slow down, you can see that he needs to do something again to get it going again. Or maybe one of the plates on the table is starting to get a little bit low. That's what the green bar does. The green bar lets you know you're just about out of something, and you need to address it so that you can keep doing what you need to do and throw things up in the air like you see. So we're going to start jumping through the actual screens and what you're going to see. And this is the second really, really cool part of the entire process. One of the things that Optimizer changes is the way that your substrate list comes up. And you'll see this in the live demonstration as well. But if you notice what you have here, you've got 4 drawers on the left. Each of them have a different type of paper in them. And the press sheets right now that are being called for are listed on the right-hand side. So those 6 different substrates that are listed, you can see what is in the drawers and how much is in each drawer for those. You can see what's missing from the drawers. And what that'll help you do based on when that material is needed, you can tell your cutting department, hey, I need this amount of paper by this time because otherwise the bowls on top of my sticks are going to fall to the ground and my little green line is going to turn red and the press is going to stop. So this is an exceptional tool to help you understand what your production is going through. So, real quick idea, you can jump through, you can see all the available stuff, and the idea is that it's showing you all the different data that you need to be able to tell your department what they need to do. Last but not least, that little line at the bottom, you know that you've got jobs that need certain substrates, but you don't have them, or you have substrates that don't have an associated job. So the idea is you have to pull something out of the press and replace it with something that you need. All right, so what does this look like in real life? So this is what we have in comparison to other companies. You know what this looks like. You start the press, you print your proof, you print your job after it's been approved. You stop. You load another proof. You load another job, you start to print, you stop. You grab another proof, another job, and you get the idea. You know how this works. You do one thing at a time and you get nothing done for the whole day. All of this kind of print queue would show maybe about 40-something minutes of worth of production. So we'll jump to what it looks like in our environment. In a 7,000 or a 10,000, we're going to have the same job basket, It's going to be re-queued based on a number of connection points, and I'll talk about what those are in a minute. And then we start to print. We've done a couple of proofs to get jobs ready to go, and then you can see the production begin to start. Here's the point. We do all of these things concurrently. We don't wait and do one and then stop and wait and then do one and then stop. We do everything simultaneously. And I will show you that right here as we print with the press. So, half the time. You're looking at like a 40-minute overall job basket versus a 20-minute job basket. So, what does Optimizer mean for us? At the end of the day, you get benefits because you're getting higher print volume. And we've gotten from customers that this is going to improve their productivity by up to about 30%. However, that really depends on what your job basket is. You might get more than that. You might only find a couple of things. And you might even not find a real increase in productivity, but you'll really love the tools that will tell you what substrates you need and when, and how long your press is going to go until it needs to stop. The idea then too is that you've got the salespeople. And all right, let's stop for a second here. You know how this works. The sales guy, the production manager, whoever that really deals directly with that customer, they walk in and they say to you, hey, Bob, you and me are buddies. We need to readjust the print queue so my jobs go first. How many of you out there, raise your hand, you know that that's you. And you're constantly putting up with different salespeople, owners, or people that run the business that tell you how to requeue your setup. What would it be and what would it mean to you if you had an estimated time of arrival for all of your jobs, and you could turn right around to that person and say, if you leave my queue alone and let me do the jobs the way the press wants to do them, I'll have everything done by noon, but if I do the DQ the way you want, if I requeue everything the way you're asking me to, I'm not going to be done until 2:30. What would that mean to you? It's a little bit of defense that you can really put the jobs in the right order that they need to be. Finally, what does it do for you on a daily basis? It makes it easier for you to navigate between proofing and printing cycles. It streamlines all the functions that you do on a daily basis, especially the substrate handling. And then most importantly, you've got all the dashboards available to you at your fingertips that you can make sure that your press stays up and running really well. Just a quick mention of a customer that did put it in Optimizer. They found that a lot of print companies today, we got a lot of jobs and they went from big long jobs to shorter jobs and lots of jobs that were small. And what they found was on their 7800, and keep in mind, Optimizer is available for every single 7000 press, 7000, 75, 76, 78, and 7900s, as well as the two 10,000 family, 10 and 12,000 presses. So they put it on their 7800 and found that it really was the right solution for them. Now, last couple things. I'm going to leave this up on the screen. We can snap back to this at the end. I do have a special deal. And I found out in talking to our business group that I couldn't actually give everybody the same temporary code so that it would light up your try and buy. But if you contact me, I'll have to get your serial number of your particular press. We can get you a temporary license that will authorize Optimizer for your particular device. All right, so let's come back over to the press now, and we're going to talk specifically about what really happens in real life with this product. So I'm going to start a print job. I'm going to let it start to print. It's got a bunch of copies with it. It's going to go for a little while. And what I'm going to do here as I go through this, I'm going to show you really quickly the actual configuration screen of what Optimizer looks like. Now, Optimizer itself is going to give us the functionality of, let me show it to you here, of choosing how to configure it for us specifically. So you can see in the top left, the jobs are starting to run now, by the way. What I've got here is I can choose how many proofs I'm going to run per job. And that's on average something that I choose for myself. I'm going to set up the overhead per proof. In other words, how long does it take me to make each proof, set up the front to back placement, make sure it's tumbled correctly, make sure basic setup is correct. And then last but not least, I'm going to set up the overhead for a specific color match. Let's say I have a repetitive job that I have to do. I'm going to know how long it's going to take me to get back to my color. And that's a time period that I can put in there. This doesn't actually change anything in the press. What it does is it changes the estimated time of arrival. So based on the amount of time that I need, I can select in my print queue which jobs have color match requirements and which ones don't. Last two things here kind of help configure how long or short that little bar is. That kind of gives me the idea of uptime. And then based on what I want for proofs, I can choose by copies, by sheets, or by records in the job. That's it. Optimizer is really very simple. But there's a much bigger hierarchy going on under the hood that you don't really know about. So in the job setups themselves, I actually have, with this new queue, and the way this works is it's based on 5 different foundational things. One shot or multi-shot. So if the press is currently in one-shot mode, then it'll just prioritize all of my one-shot jobs. If the press is in multi-shot mode, then it'll prioritize all the multi-shot jobs. So the idea that you're looking at here when you look at the basic function is the press wants to stay in that environment as long as it can. The next thing is the way it handles substrates. So if you look at the jobs here, you can see on the screen I've got all the different substrates applied to the different jobs. One down here in waiting actually doesn't have its substrate applied. But the idea is that the optimizer is going to look for the jobs that have substrates in the press right now, and as much substrate as you need. So if you need 500 sheets, I have 1,000 in the press. I've got enough substrates in the machine to keep it running for that particular job. That job would get priority over a job that, let's say, had 1,500 sheets required, and I still only have those 500. Now the next thing is it'll look at a partial job. So if I have the sheets in the press and I have 1,200 sheets that are required and I only have 1,000 sheets available, that job will be in second place because it'll know that I need to add more paper as the press continues to print. Third one is a defined substrate. So I have the paper defined in the substrate catalog, but I don't actually have that material in the press. And then last but not least, of course, is any paper that comes with a job that literally has no definition. So maybe we have a brand new request from a customer and that paper doesn't exist in our digital workflow. That job is going to be queued last. So as you look at the screen again, just jump back really quickly for this. And what you'll see, I've got this queue built in this order, and I've got my print queue running here at the top, but I've got my proof queue ready to go here in the middle. I want to put it in the right plan. So I'm actually just going to click this little button for plan, and notice all the names are going to jump out of order from what they are right now. That's because it just went by the hierarchy that I just told you about. Included in that, by the way, is also large jobs to small jobs as far as size of substrate. So a 13 by 19 job will go first before a 12 by 18 job, etc. Then last but not least, and this one's kind of tough to understand. So if I pick a job like this one, and I say that I need to have a color control match for that, when I hit the plan again, that job is going to be set eventually at the bottom of the queue because that one's going to take more time to control. And based on the way that that works, is it's going to re-queue the whole system because certain jobs are going to take longer than others. All right? So at the end of the day, production setup is based on this. Now what I need you to do is switch the camera over to the end of the press. I'm running the current job that I've been working on, and now what I'm going to do is start to run these proofs. So I select a single job, I ask that particular job for a proof, and I'm going to ask it to come to the top queue. Now what I do is I select the job, I ask it to come to the queue, it continues to do the production inside the press, and then in about 7 to 10 sheets of production that continues there, it pops the sheet out at the top of the unit. As it gets that sheet out, I can do all of my functions to my new setup, to the properties, to the setups of the color management, all of the placement functionality, and you see that the job just came out here. And at that point, I can do whatever I need to do for that particular job. So if I need to change the placement, if I need to change the location or the mirroring or whatever else I might need to do. And by the way, I can just keep selecting jobs and I can just keep switching them back and forth. Now, the idea is if you look at my screen really closely, you can see I've got 9 total minutes remaining and I'll be finished at 2:26 for this particular job. The job right after that that's also ready to go will take 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes added on top of that will leave me at 2:36. You get the idea. It's very, very simple. So kind of like Harry Potter, we started out feeling a little bit kind of constrained and under control, but notice I've got this big green stripe at the bottom of the press. I know that as I walk away and anything I need to do, I can go get my new papers, I can get everything else that I need to do. While I'm doing that, let me show you that particular screen. This is live now, not the screen capture that we showed you before. So all the jobs that I have that I need here, I've got the 70-pound uncoated 13 by 19 text. I've got a 100 gloss text that I use for my color calibrations, and I've got a 13 by 19 uncoated cover. All of those substrates are in the press right now. I've got 293 sheets remaining. I have none that I'm missing for any of the jobs. Notice that I've got on the 100-pound gloss text, 9,500 sheets are going to be used, and I'm actually missing over 9,000 sheets. I need those here by 226 because those particular substrates are going to be used for the next jobs coming up behind the current job printing. So that's it. That's Optimizer in a nutshell. So let me finish with a couple of little statements here. So with Optimizer and the way that we've got the setup, you can put this code into your software, you can run this process, you can run it live, and you can turn it on and off, which is really cool, because if you do feel sometimes like Harry Potter, like you're just a little bit drowning, just turn it off and go back to life as normal. But when you really understand what you can do with this product, it's really fantastic for your production, giving you upwards of 30% productivity improvement. Now let me add in one little piece of this. I can get you a try and buy code for this product for either 30 or 60 days. We're trying to work out some of those details. All you have to do is contact me. So the tim.stefl@hp.com link that you saw, just send me an email. I'll send you back the information and the specific details of the try and buy program, and that'll take care of that. However, kind of like Steve Jobs, we'll tell you one more little thing. So if you know that we've been doing these live streams, we're starting to really enjoy these, and we're going to have some more of these. So in a couple weeks, not sure the exact date yet, but we'll have that in a little bit. Our very own Cecilia Santos is going to help us out with this. You might notice that these have some printing on the outside edge of the job. This is the book block piece that I'm actually printing right now in the back of the press. And what you'll see here when I stack these up all nice, edge printing. And the idea that the sheets actually have printing right up to the edge. When we cut the job down, we get a nice clean looking edge to the product. But that's not all. We can edge print the top and we can edge print the bottom. So you can actually see two different images from both sides. When we turn them into actual books, you can see in this particular application, this is a 5-book set. You can see one continuous image across the back of all 5 books. This is also incorporating mosaic. That's got every single cover is completely different. And then as I already showed you, the edge printing on the top of the sheets and then on the bottoms. And we'll take you through how to do this for yourself, and you can start to do these exact kind of applications. So, thanks for coming by at live at 5555. Hanny, back to you.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the live stream. Be sure to follow us on our live stream channel at livestream.com/HP Graphics Live. And we don't have any questions or comments, but they all have your email, so I'm sure you'll be getting some later, and you can, if they watch the replay. So
sounds good.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.
Thanks, everybody.